walk across the campus of the University of Texas at Austin, and you immediately see what decades of investment in higher education can create. Thousands of students are moving between classes. Research laboratories are developing new technologies. Libraries are filled with future engineers, doctors, scientists, and entrepreneurs. Professors conducting research that influences industries far beyond Texas. This is more than a university. It is an economic engine, a talent factory, a long-term investment in human capital. And it raises an important question. What if countries seeking international recognition focus less on promoting their image abroad and more on building institutions like this at home? What if the resources spent on international branding campaigns had been invested in universities, laboratories, scholarships, and research centers? And what if Rwanda had made that choice years ago? The 2026 Center for World University Rankings, known as CWUR, once again highlighted the growing strength of higher education across Africa. According to rankings from the CWUR Global 2000 list, approximately 70 to 75 African universities ranked among the world's top 2,000 institutions. South Africa, Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Nigeria, and Kenya were among the countries represented. Their universities continue to produce research, attract academic talent, and strengthen their international reputations. The rankings reveal something important. World-class universities are not created overnight. They are built through decades of investment in professors, laboratories, libraries, scholarships, research grants, and academic freedom. That is precisely why the rankings raise an uncomfortable question for Rwanda. How is it that more than 70 African universities have managed to enter the CWUR Global 2000? Yet, Rwanda has not emerged as one of Africa's leading higher education powers, despite years of ambitious development programs and international visibility campaigns. For many critics, the answer lies in national priorities. What universities actually produce? When people look at a university, they often see classrooms and students. But top universities produce much more than degrees. They produce doctors who strengthen healthcare systems, engineers who build roads, bridges, and infrastructure, scientists who develop new technologies, entrepreneurs who create businesses and jobs, researchers who solve national problems. Universities create knowledge, and knowledge creates wealth. That is one reason institutions like the University of Texas at Austin have become major contributors to economic growth. Their impact extends far beyond the campus itself. Research generated in university laboratories often becomes the companies, technologies, and industries that shape the future. This is why countries around the world compete to build stronger universities. They understand that investing in higher education is investing in national development. The Rwanda question. Over the years, President Paul Kagame's government has invested significant resources in promoting Rwanda's image abroad. The most visible examples have been sponsorship agreements associated with major football clubs such as Arsenal, Paris Saint-Germain, and Atletico de Madrid. Supporters argue that these partnerships help place Rwanda on the global map. They argue that tourism increased, investors became more aware of the country, and Rwanda gained valuable international exposure. Those are legitimate arguments. But critics ask a different question. What if a larger share of those resources had been invested in higher education? What if Rwanda had spent years building research universities capable of competing with Africa's best institutions? What if thousands more students had received scholarships? What if more laboratories had been built? What if Rwanda had become known not only for tourism and conferences, but also for academic excellence and scientific innovation? No one can know exactly what the outcome would have been, but critics argue that the opportunity deserves serious consideration, more than visibility. The debate is not really about football, nor is it simply about tourism. It is about what type of development creates the greatest long-term benefit for a country. A sponsorship agreement may increase international visibility. A marketing campaign may improve a country's image. Millions may see a logo on people's football jerseys. But visibility alone does not educate a child. It does not train a doctor. It does not create a scientist. It does not produce academic research. Universities do. Scholarships do. Research institutions do. Teacher training does. The countries that dominate university rankings today are often countries that have spent decades investing in human capital. That investment rarely produces immediate headlines, but it produces long-term results. The debate over development priorities. The criticism goes beyond university rankings. For many observers, the real issue is how public resources are allocated in a country where many families still face economic challenges. Critics argue that Rwanda's development model has often favored projects that enhance the country's international image, including luxury hotels, convention facilities, tourism infrastructure, sports venues, and prestige projects. At the same time, they argue that more attention should be directed toward investments that directly improve the daily lives of ordinary citizens. In their view, President Kagame should focus more heavily on building schools, building hospitals, building bridges, expanding healthcare services, strengthening universities, improving public education, creating more opportunities for low-income families. The argument is simple. A luxury hotel may serve tourists. A convention center may host international events. A stadium may attract attention and generate national pride. But schools educate future generations. Hospitals save lives. Bridges connect communities. Universities create knowledge and innovation. For critics, these are the investments that produce the greatest long-term return for society. Supporters of the government strategy respond that tourism, conferences, and international branding generate revenue that can eventually support public services. Critics remain skeptical. They argue that the benefits of these projects often appear concentrated among a relatively small segment of the population, whereas the benefits of education and healthcare reach far more citizens. the reality facing low-income families. The debate becomes even more significant when viewed through the lens of low-income households' experiences. For families struggling with the cost of living, access to quality education remains a major concern. For many young people, higher education remains financially challenging. For some communities, access to healthcare services can still be difficult. These concerns are immediate. They affect daily life. This is why critics believe development should be measured not only by international recognition, but also by improvements in the lives of ordinary citizens. A country's success should not be judged solely by how many people abroad recognize its name. It should also be judged by the number of opportunities available to those living within its borders. Why the CWUR rankings matter. This is why the CWUR rankings deserve attention. They are not simply a list of prestigious universities. They reflect years and often decades of investment in knowledge, research, faculty development, and academic excellence. There are approximately 70 to 75 African universities that entered the CWUR Global 2000 in 2026 did not reach those positions by accident. Their success reflects a sustained commitment to education and research. South African universities, Egyptian universities, Moroccan universities, Kenyan universities. Many of these institutions have spent decades building their academic reputation. Their rankings are the result of long-term planning and long-term investment. For Rwanda, the rankings present an opportunity for reflection. Has enough been invested in higher education? Have universities received the same level of political attention as international branding initiatives? Could greater investment in research and education help Rwanda become a stronger, knowledge-based economy in the future? These are reasonable questions, and they deserve serious discussion. In the end, the debate is not really about Arsenal. It is not really about football. And it is not even primarily about rankings. It is about choices. The choices governments make today shape the opportunities available tomorrow. A logo on a football jersey may be visible for a season. A university can shape a nation for generations. A sponsorship campaign may improve international visibility. A world-class education system can transform an entire society. The countries that rise through education create scientists, engineers, doctors, teachers, entrepreneurs, and innovators. They build institutions that outlast political leaders. And perhaps that is the deeper lesson behind the 2026 CWUR rankings. The strongest nations are often not those that spend the most on visibility. They are the ones who invest the most in their people.